So everything is recording. Reset trip. Well, first of all, welcome back to another episode of Unplugged TV, of course. Nice and cool 22 degrees in the car here. We are going to see one of my customers. 26 kilometers, one direction, and then we go home, so 52 kilometers all in total. And I'm recording the Tesla Watchdog as well to see what kind of... Ooh, that is interesting. Can you see that? We've got a region limit. Potentially due to a... Come on, populate. 30 degrees. We've got 30 degrees in the battery and we've got a region limit at 60% state of charge. So definitely under 30 degrees we will have a limit. It's not very large, but yeah, and then I will recharge the car again and do some more calculation in regards to the consumption. The 80%, this didn't sound all right yesterday. So a second trip, second opinion, that's what you do. Okay, oh, it's 20 past, I'm not sure.
Drive west on John Drive for 1.3 kilometers.
How this shaky camera looks like. I hope this all works. It is fairly shaky on this long arm. Okay, just closing the gate. Yep, that'll be fine. All right, so I'm trying to drive an autopilot as much as possible to see how good the car performs here on rural roads. I know the autopilot is not designed for... We start right here, maybe. Yeah, we can. There you go. I know autopilot is not designed to drive automatically on these roads, but we will do it anyway and see how we go. I will always have my hands on the steering wheel, especially when cars approach us on these roads. It's trying just fine. Oh, don't. Ah. Went through the puddle. Is there a paddle mode? I hope this shaky camera works. I'm not sure. All right, we still have a region limit, 30 degrees, and you can see the battery inlet is a bit higher, 30.4. So as soon as the... that was a bit of a shaky shake. But look at the line marking. We don't have line marking on the left, and there's almost no line marking on the right. Here it's completely missing here. It's freaking out. It's still holding the lane. It's driving.
Right onto forest.
It did it. It did it. Yes, region limit, definitely. No big deal. It is still fairly strong. Okay, put it back in autopilot. 80 kilometers an hour. That should be fine here. Good line markings. And it probably nags me every 12 seconds now. And also I cannot override the speed. Whoa, phantom braking. Massive phantom braking for no particular reason. Never did this before on this road. Don't know why I freaked out. Always hard to tell. 80 kilometers appropriate speed for these roads. Region limit is gone. Not sure if I take off autopilot if it comes back. No, it's gone. Okay. Ah, no, there it is again. Okay. Yeah, we've got 30.5 degrees in the battery now. So it's slowly increasing. You can see the inlet is a bit higher. It's braking. Yeah, and now it's going through. Inlet is a bit higher than the battery itself, so it's trying to slightly warm up the battery. Energy coming from the rear motor. Narrow street here. Okay. Yeah, rear motor has 35 degrees, so it's taking this energy and warms the battery. Careful here. You can see the roads are fairly narrow. Typical country roads. You cannot see far. Ah, the camera is shaking. This arm is not ideal. Oh, it's shaking a lot. Okay, that's not the ideal solution to mount the camera. Ah, 100. Crawling along here. I think 100 kilometers is fine on these roads. The old Chinese sucker. It doesn't suck. I have to remount my camera. Yeah, I need to invest in a better sucker. This is one I had for a long time, and I think the rubber is a bit hard. Yeah, so 100 kilometers per hour, straight country roads, one line marking in the middle of the road. Seems to be totally fine. Car can handle it just beautifully. I'm always aware when cars approaching us, I keep my hands on the steering wheel. I'm expecting the car to break out in the other lane. But so far nothing has never happened. But it's always good to have this prediction in your head that something could happen with the autopilot on these roads. I'm far more relaxed on motorways, but on these country roads it's not designed for that. Yeah, that is not ideal. Where this swing is coming from in this arm. It's a plastic arm only. Yeah, took the curve with 100. I would have slowed down maybe to 90, but 100 is okay. The next bend, zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. Bend. Beware, no cars coming towards us. Yeah, it's a bit, you can see how it pushes me out of the curve here in the seat. I would have slowed down 5 kilometers or so, just to keep me comfortable in the seat. But 100 is okay, it is okay. Yeah, this trip should not be much of a challenge for the car because we've got mostly straight roads ahead. Should be all fine and good. I had a couple of comments on several videos, even old PHEV videos, where people were saying, Andy, you have just shown where you live. I said, yep, people have found out very early, about 2 years ago, when I started making videos with a PHEV, and I filmed the surrounding when I left my home and went to work, and they went into Google Maps and figured it out and texted me. Well, some people have even sent me postcards. So thank you very much for your postcard. No big deal. Fairly straight road. It doesn't get confused or so at all. But again, I personally would drive a little bit more in the middle of the road. There's a branch, yeah, especially here in these very tight bridge situations. These roads are not as bad as the other ones we drove before, where we had these potholes on the side of the road where the grass starts. But you usually, as a human driver, you would drive a little bit more in the middle of the road to eliminate these potholes. Still sucking here. Okay, we are approaching a car now. And do the 3-finger swipe. You can scroll all the way to ahead. There it is. There it is. Yep, there it is. Okay, car is slowing down to 90. 90 is ridiculous.
In 2 kilometers, turn left onto Atkinson Road.
Yeah, I will stay behind them. I'm not overtaking them. That's fine. Battery has warmed up to 31 degrees. Still, the inlet is warmer than the battery. It's still using energy from the rear motor to heat up the battery, to warm the battery, not to heat it up. It's just warming it up. Look how green this is all of a sudden here. Can you remember the old videos I made just 2 or 3 weeks ago? Where everything was brown and dusty here, and now green. Green is the... well, if we would have more rain here, it would be insane. I would be so busy in the garden. At 41 degrees in the rear motor and 32 degrees going to the battery. It's slightly warming up the battery. Between 30 and 40 degrees is the optimal battery temperature for the Model 3 2170 cell. So I'm taking out Autopilot. We have to turn here in a second.
Now turn left onto Atkinson Road.
Obviously it cannot do any turns. Alright, so turning here and putting Autopilot back on. Fairly wide road, but only one lane marking. Is this all recording here? Yeah, okay, cool. So, upcoming curve. It's on 100. Nah, far too fast for me. I took it out. Okay. 90 would be appropriate for these curves. And even now it will accelerate again to 100, and then there's the next curve coming. So it's not looking ahead much at the moment on these roads, of course. Different on the highway, you've got these smoother curves, not these curves here in the country roads. So they have to adapt the software a lot more to slow down the car because of the much stronger, much steeper curves. So yeah, I'm happy with 100 here, straight road. Next curve is coming. I'm taking it down to 95. I think 95 is just, it brakes automatically to 90 in the curve. It goes in the curve and then realizes force is getting too strong, slows down 10 kilometers. That's 100 here again, fine. And this is the this looking ahead, what the car is not doing at the moment, because it's not designed for that, for these roads to drive there. And that's why I think full self-driving is a long shot away, a long shot. At least 2 years, maybe 5 years. It will get better, of course, but we are not there yet. And I'm really hesitating to pay for it at the moment. Okay, a curve coming, I'm slowing down to 90. It's an 80 kilometer zone here anyway. Still has 100. It's the Lake Atkinson caravan park, but there's no lake.
In 2 kilometers, turn right onto Rocky Gully Road.
Yeah, following this car ahead, who's driving even worse than my autopilot. He's clearly texting or something, doing something there. He's going over the line. Still 100. It's the wrong map data it has. Very close to the guardrail. I would have driven again more to the middle of the road. This guy is driving 66 here. Okay. 68, 66, 69. All over the place. Well, we have to turn in 900 meters anyway. So, happy to stay behind him. Is he going to turn here? Maybe he is. No, he's not. Yeah, so battery warming has stopped now. You can see 31.9 degree inlet and 32 is the battery. So it has stopped warming up the battery. It leaves the battery as it is. And that's fine. No lane markings at all. Car still drives fine. Shows us 2 lane markings here. They've just done. Oh, I need to turn here. Hang on.
Now turn right onto Rocky Gully Road.
Yeah, need to turn here into the Rocky Gully Road. Okay, what do we have? 50 kilometers and autopilot. I'm super 100% sure on this road here there was never been a Tesla in autopilot before. This is the very first time. This is a world premiere car driving this road. It drives with 50 here. That's fine. I'll leave it with 50. I cannot override it. Okay. Doesn't get confused with the soil contamination on the road. Look at all this water. Huh. Yeah, drives just fine. Senses the grass. Time, trip A. 24 kilometers, 145 watt hours so far. Well, as we know, this is only what we used to drive. We will see how much energy we have to recharge later back in the car to fill it up again to 60%. Yeah, it has no trouble at all here driving on this road. Never ever has a Tesla driven on this road in autopilot. I'm so proud I'm the first. Okay, so what's going on down there? It looks like there's a little bridge coming. Low level bridge. So they don't build bridges above the creek, they'll build it through the creek. So it goes all the way down. I better keep the hands on the steering wheel now. Let's see what's going on. Don't want to. Just done it without lane markings. Amazing. It is really learning. Okay, here comes a tricky situation. Oh, yeah, turned off autopilot, would have crashed. Okay, that's one kill. That's one kill. Yeah, there was in the curve, there was gravel on the road and there was no line marking, and inside the curve, and there was another road going to the left. Very confusing. See, and that's what the software needs to improve before we get full self-driving, because these situations occur a lot and then the car doesn't know what to do and cannot turn off autopilot then. So what's going on here? Do we have autopilot on this road at all? Let's see if we can engage autopilot at some stage. Probably not. No autopilot here. It doesn't recognize any lanes. It has the gray lines in here, but no autopilot, no steering wheel. See, and here again, autopilot needs to improve, needs to use the cameras and see, okay, this is a very narrow lane. I can drive here, but if a car comes towards me, I need to go on the grass between the driveway and make room for the other car to pass. So super tricky situations, right? 2 years plus it is away, 2 years plus. Okay, I have arrived on the customer side. I turn on the cameras now and see you when I'm back.
Now your destination is on the left.
Okay, so we are back recording, back from the customer. Didn't take long. So since last charge we need to observe this one. Obviously I left the air conditioner on its trip. Let's have a quick look at the trip card so far. Yeah, as we can see, 27.2, 4 kilowatt hours, 4.05, 146. See, today this all matches perfectly, and we have used 0.2 kilowatt hours for the stationary air condition to keep my beautiful body cool. And then we recharge the car again. Yes, obviously no autopilot available here. See, now there's the car coming in ahead of us, and the lane is obviously not wide enough to take two cars, so I have to take off autopilot. They are turning. But usually you would need to go into the grass here on the gravel to make room for this other car. Okay. Oh, I just need to turn down the aircon a little bit. Oh, it's a bit warm. No, it's not warm, it's humid. Car coming. I turned wrong. Well, can we go this way? Somehow? Where do we... this is Cominia. That's fine. That works as well. Yeah, we can do some tests here. Right. But this is only 50 kilometers now. It's probably 70 or 80 or even 100. Oh well, I don't bother as long as no other cars are coming and they want me to move. They can overtake me. Totally fine. Just want to go back to the performance tab. Battery is at 33 degrees and inlet is 32.9, so it's not heating, warming the battery. Always say heating. And bottom right on the dock you can see 4 millivolt cell balance. That's the difference between the lowest and the highest battery cell inside the car. The difference is only 4 millivolts, and we have just driven 25 or 28 kilometers. And you can see it during the driving. It's actually not going much up. It sometimes goes to 0.6, 0.8, but then when you drive slower again, it goes back to 0.4. And what we found out, I make a separate video about this, but Tesla cars are balancing all the time. So you don't need to charge your car to 90% or even to 100% to get the battery balanced, as I just did a few videos ago, because I didn't know that. See, it goes up to 6 millivolts now because we put some load on it. Even if I accelerate, let's see if we can get to 8, 12 under load. Then we go back and 4 millivolts again. So Tesla's obviously, apparently, they're balancing all the time while parking, while driving. It doesn't matter at what state of charge the battery is, they balance all the time. And they have actually a patent on this, which they have made public, I guess. I haven't read it yet, but I've got the link for it, so I know where it is. And I will make a separate video about this insane... we are now here, right? So, and that's why you see the 4, 5, 6 millivolt all the time. I did not know that. We had a long and strong discussion on one of the German forums on YouTube and discussed that. And someone posted this link and said, look, Tesla is doing that. They are balancing all the time. Very different BMS to the Outlander PHEV, definitely, which balanced only while charging. They've got 6 millivolts now. Okay, doing 15 kilowatt of regen now down this hill. It's amazing. And now we're using 25 to go up again. Slight turn, but well, we're driving only 50 kilometers an hour, so that should be absolutely fine. See, bottom left is 49.4% state of charge, and the average cell voltage is 3.79 volt. Battery temperature 33 degrees. We've got 33 outside. Very good. And I don't know on the screen when it tells you 146 watt hours per kilometer. Is this including the aircon, or is this excluding the aircon, or any other appliances you've got running? So where do we go now here? Okay, yep, got it. I don't know if this is only for the drivetrain or is it also for the aircon, heating and other appliances you use. I have no idea. You would have to drive the same distance again without the aircon and then see, is there a difference? Unless someone of you guys know if this is... Oh, give way. Okay, obviously I cannot handle that. Okay. Here. The camera has just turned off. Okay, that's fine. I haven't charged it up, and I realized this morning I tried the 2 camera setup. But it wasn't charged up all the way. So continuing with 1 camera. That's fine. Yeah, I cannot override the speed. It's on 50 kilometers. Okay, I'm turning. I think this is the one. And no autopilot here on these roads. There's no line marking. It cannot handle that. So this all needs to be taken care of by the cameras itself, even if there's no lane marking. And also we have plenty of gravel roads here in Australia. Well, you cannot use autopilot on these gravel roads at the moment. And this is another challenge for full self-driving, to get you going on gravel roads. Okay, we're turning right. Car. This is 100. Autopilot comes along right away. 100. Sits on 60. Yep, to the 100. I'm happy with 100 here on this road. Definitely happy. Nice and straight road, wide enough lanes, but still I cannot. It has picked up the traffic cones on the right. They were sitting next to an entrance to a property. Yeah, no overriding of the speed. Cannot go faster in autopilot. I can do it on cruise control. Yeah, I can override in cruise control, but not on autopilot. Which is fine. See, now driving 100 kilometers per hour, 6 millivolt cell balance or cell difference. What a boring drive. Yeah, you stay in your lane, your old Camry. Look how nice and green this is. It's amazing. Yeah, this camera shake is still too much. Not sure if we can filter this out. We'll see. We'll see. Too far on this boundary here, on the metal guardrail. I would have driven more in the middle. Even now I would drive a little bit more. See, I would probably drive like this. It complains. I'm not even over the line. Okay, I'm a little bit over the line. I would drive like this. I would drive very close to the middle line. And when a car comes, I just move it over like this. And then after the car has passed, I go back to the right hand side. That's how I would drive on these roads. But look, bang, centers itself again. Autopilot drives the car center. And again, another challenge for the autopilot to spot potholes, uneven roads, and then slow down or go around it if the traffic allows it. But how does autopilot actually recognizes and identify a pothole from a puddle? How does it know how deep the puddle may be? It could be a plastic bag, it could be a puddle, it could be a rock. So there's lots of challenges for the software, what it actually needs to determine in terms of full self-driving when on the road. It's very hard to tell in the distance if this is a plastic bag or a rock. Okay, I slow down the car a little bit, 95. Going in this really wide lane. Let's see if it handles it perfectly. Okay, going back to 100. That's fine. And here again, see there's gravel from this driveway on the road. And you got these bumps on the left hand side where the tarmac is not good anymore. I would drive further to the right. And autopilot eventually needs to identify these conditions and move the car further to the right and not center it anymore. I think I'm always pulling on the steering wheel to drive a little bit more to the right. I'm a little bit scared. It drives very, very close to the left boundary here of the road. Very close. Let's pay attention here. Ooh, it goes. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. And here again, very difficult. Dirt on the road. A bridge, rail guard. Very narrow lines, but it handled it. Oh, where are we? Here. There we go. Start recording. Yeah. It's all good. Look how high this grass here is on the left. That is insane. Oh, again, yeah. It wants to center the car, and this turn to the left just. There was another road turning left, and the car, the road widened up, and the car wanted to center itself. I don't like these situations. You have to pay attention on these roads. I always have my right hand on the steering wheel, so you can't see that. But you can see the actual autopilot doesn't nag me anymore because I've got the hand on the steering wheel, so that's so good. I'll leave it off for the moment. You can see the nag comes back. Because I get many complaints, people saying I'm brave, I'm really an idiot to do that on these roads. The autopilot is not designed. There comes the nag. Put my hand on the steering wheel back, that's fine. It's all good, it's all good, it's all under control. I know these roads, I know where I'm driving. I've driven these 100 times, turning down the speed a little bit to 90. I think the car has done it itself now. Not sure. And back to 100. And clearly in autopilot the car should read the map data. It should see the, look, there's a curve coming now to the left. I need to slow down before I reach this location. So I would need to slow down now, and it still drives 100. Maybe it pulls it through. There's no cars coming. I'll let it go. Yeah, I mean, you can drive 100 here. You can do it. But 95 would be more appropriate, really. Maybe they have to implement like a Mad Max style autopilot setting as well, where people are more a sporty driver. I'm really not one of these guys anymore. Here and there it gets me and I drive sporty. I accelerate a lot, but usually most of the time I'm driving in chill. I'm driving to the speed limit. I am not accelerating hard. I let other people overtake me if they want to. I don't really care. I'm trying to drive as safe as possible. Let's put it this way. I've got my moments sometimes, but not often anymore. 145 watt-hours per kilometer. That's actually high. For a total flat, no elevation road. Have a look on the energy graph. The last 50 kilometers, see there's no elevation, there's no bumps, nothing. 10 kilometers, it's all flat. There's super flat road. Apparently we are getting a new software update very soon, the 2020.4. Haven't got any details what it does, what it approves, what it updates. I've just seen a few posts that it has been spotted. 2020.4. Well, it continues, right? Never stops. So I turn down the cruise control, and here again the car drives far to the outside of the curve, and there was another car coming, so I'm not really confident with that behavior. Sometimes it cuts the actual curve and drives on the inside of the curve, which is correct, which would you do as a human driver, but most of the time, if it doesn't have enough data, it drives into the curve and it drags it out into out of the curve a little bit, sometimes even over the line. You can see the middle line turning blue then, because the car is too fast. And you need to be aware, if you don't drive this on motorways, but on these lanes where you have traffic coming towards you, you need to be very aware that this is potentially super dangerous what you're doing. So don't do it at home. Don't listen to Uncle Andy. Don't do this at home. If I crash the car, there are only fields left and right. There's nothing else here. So we're coming to 80, 100, 100, 100, 100, 80. And now it slows down automatically, which is cool. But it should do this before the actual sign comes. 80 kilometers count from the sign, and not 250 meters behind that. Yeah, 80 kilometers is fine on these roads. It's a good speed because you can't see far. I've got very good lane marking. A smooth road. This road was completely washed away during the flood. The water came through this way and washed away the whole road. I've got pictures there. That's why this piece of road is so nice and smooth now. Okay, this is a scary crossing here a bit. Sometimes it freaks out. No, doesn't. I still cannot override the 80 kilometers. It's still not confident enough. I'm driving this road a lot and try to drive in autopilot as much as possible to teach the car, to teach the system, but it's still not allowing to override me. I'm really keen to see how long this will take until I can override it, until Tesla says, yep, we've got so much data of this region, we can allow to override the speed now. I'm driving this since the basically beginning of October 2019 in this area here on pure autopilot, as much as possible to teach the system. Alright, we almost made it home. That was a lovely drive. There's another possibility to activate lane marking after the gravel. Here it is. No. There it comes. Come on. Nah, come on, missed it again. Here we go. Got it. So you can barely see the lane marking here on the road. And the car would not have this ability at the beginning when I got it new. And I tried to teach it every time I'm driving here. Put on the autopilot, let the car drive. Even if it drives on 50 kilometers only, it doesn't matter. But it drives itself just fine. And look, it drives perfectly fine here. At the beginning it was very insecure to drive, like a 16-year-old drunk. But now it's far more confident. Well, that's an interesting situation now with the car parking half on the road. I think it would bump into this guy. Okay, manually steering around it. Too dangerous. All right, we are back home. I'm getting better with reversing the car into the carport here. Well, I just set it in. Now I have to adjust the position just a bit. All right, so we made it home. Excellent. Let's have a look. Our trip. So the whole trip Oh, what happened here? Ah, hasn't updated yet. Okay. Yes, 56.1, 56.1, 100%. 8 kilowatt hours used. 8 kilowatt hours. 143, 144. Amazing. 11% regen. It was fairly flat, as you can remember. And almost 1 kilowatt hour regen. And 0.23 kilowatt hours for stationary air condition, because I'm soft. All right, let's put this one on 10 amp. I leave the threshold as it is on 60%, and we will plug in the car now and recharge, and then we do the numbers and figures again as we did the last time and see what kind of result we get today. All right, see you in well, how long it will take, probably 2, 3, 4 hours. See you then. And reset. So measuring the energy going into the car, cross capacity, cross energy, and oh, this one hasn't updated yet. Now we are charging on 10 amps, and the car is telling me, yep, this will take 4 hours and 15 minutes to charge back to 60%. Okay, see you in 4 hours and 15 minutes then. Yep, and on the Watchdog I can already see we have charged 0.0 kilowatt hours, 0.07 kilowatt hours. Filling up slowly, right? Takes a while. So we have recharged to 190 kilometers, still 2 hours to go. 50% state of charge we have reached, and the cell imbalance is only 2 millivolts, while charging on 10 amp with 2 kilowatts. That is insanely low across almost 3000 battery cells. So I have received two notifications on my phone. Charging completed at 6 now, at 4:47, battery at 225 kilometers. So everything is fully charged now. And to not bother you with the whiteboard anymore, I have done the maths already. So the Sonoff, I'll show you the Sonoff has measured 9.49 kilowatt hours into the whole system, including all losses. Well, the Tesla Watchdog shows us 8.77 kilowatt hours into the battery. And we have used, and the car inside shows us 8.1 kilowatt hours used, 8 kilowatt hours it showed on the display. So 56.1 kilometers, 143 watt hours is exactly 8 kilowatt hours. That's what the car shows. So doing the maths and using the 9.49 kilowatt hours we have actually used to recharge the car, we are coming to a loss of 18%. So far away, hang on, far away from the 80% we had on the last trip here. And if we calculate with the Watchdog data of 8.77 kilowatt hours, we have used only 9% more. And these figures look far more better. So 18% loss to recharge the car again to what it was before. I think I've shown you this before in this last video. No, not the last one. The video I link up here when we did the first consumption test. The battery was not quite to the same level as I recharged it to. There was a little tiny gap in between. I don't know if I have accidentally moved the slider a little bit higher to a higher state of charge, or if I was sitting in the car and used a little bit of the aircon. Something was not quite matching up, and I think this is why we have seen 80% more energy charged back into the car for the same 25 kilometers. I think we can disregard this stuff. Calculate with this one 18%. This is the true number, or 9% if you just look at the battery. All right. I think this is enough confusion for today. I hope you enjoyed the trip. Sorry for this shaking camera stuff. I will get another mount. This That was just a test I did with the camera. I thought maybe it's able to eliminate the shaking, but this was far too much. So once again, I will get another mount for the camera, and hopefully this time it will be a shake-free drive, so you can read what's on the display, you can look outside, you can understand me, and it's not disturbing the video all the time. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for your support. This is Andy from Unplugged TV Australia, signing off. You stay charged, and we will see us again in the next video very soon. We've got a beautiful, look at this, beautiful sunset. You wanna watch it? Okay, see you then, bye. Well, that was a bit disappointing, huh? Very unspectacular. I'll show you better sunsets in the future.